search for the YouTube link so that we can share it. Okay, it's not being shared. Okay, there it is. Sometimes it takes a couple of seconds. Okay, it's shared in Telegram. We can start now. Thomas, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yesterday, last Friday, I was mostly reviewing PRs. I also worked on adding a metric about block processing and some fix. Most specifically, the metric was about block processing time. It's something we want to check on. I also uploaded some fix. Nothing else. All right. Today, I was gonna check that new metric. I was gonna deploy that new metric in the server, and after that, I'll see what I'll continue with.
That's awesome. Maybe at some point we might, I don't know if we want this, but at some point we might have a GitHub action that we might want a GitHub action that automatically deploys the things in the server so that you don't have to do it manually. But if and when we do that, that should be handled with care. So it's okay that we do this as we are doing it right now.
Yeah.
Awesome, great progress. Thanks for the update. The next one is Fernando.
Yes. For my part, last Friday, Thomas left some comments in my PR about the bit list, so I was addressing them. I had an issue related with the little endian and a bit endian representation of the bit string, but I think I already figured out, so the PR is ready for a second review. Also, I start reading about the Open API specs, so we can integrate that. There's another issue that they have. So today I will continue with that.
That's awesome. Thank you. Mete is the next one.
Hello. The metadata issue finally merged, and I've worked on the mock execution layer part for the engine API, and it's now ready to be reviewed. I opened the PR for that, and currently I'm working on the other beacon API issue Mega gave me last Friday. Yeah, that's all from me.
That's awesome. I'm glad to hear of all that progress. The next one is God's Power.
Good day, everyone. On Friday, the PR for serialization of serialization and deserialization of basic vector was merged, and I made a PR for hash tree roots of vectors of basic type, and all the specs are passing and is ready for review right now. So today I would either work on the optimization issue or comment on another issue, or depends on yeah.
That's great. Thanks for working on both of those. I'll do a review of that one today. Feel free to start looking up the optimization. I think that's great. I'll look at the issue afterwards, but feel free to start doing your research on that and working on it. It will probably take some time too. So once you've given it an iteration, then we can discuss if it actually works. You probably want to take a look at Benchy. Have you ever used it? It's a thing that we are usually using for benchmarks. I'm mostly saying this because when we do optimizations, we generally want to track the differences between how much a single run takes before the optimization and how much it takes afterwards to actually check that it optimizes the code and how much it does. There's a couple of examples. We have a bench folder in the PR, in the repo, sorry. And in that folder, you can see a couple of examples of use cases for benchmarks in other features, like in block processing or stuff like that. So that might be useful.
Okay. So are we already using it on the client or?
Yes, I mean it's something that we usually do like offline, in the sense that we don't run benchmarks live. We do have metrics live, which kind of have a similar use case, but benchmarks we usually have a script and we just run the script with mix run. So in the bench folder, we actually have a couple of scripts that run benchmarks for other features that you might be helpful for you as examples of how to run benchmarks in Elixir.
Okay, I'll use that.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, as of me, I've mostly been working on reviewing a lot of PRs on Friday, and then I continued working on the fork tree a little bit. I hope to have a PR ready for that today at some point. I don't know what else happened on Friday, but I think that was mostly it. And yeah, afterwards, I will continue working on the concurrency issue. No, sorry, not concurrency issue. On the concurrency POC. I think that's it for me. Do we have any final comments or questions?
I wanted to ask. I saw that there's already implementation for encoding and decoding of containers, but in the spec test, some are not being tested. So I wanted to know why, and because I also wanted to create an issue around mobilization of containers, but I wanted to know why those are not being tested.
So I'm not sure I got the question correctly. So are you saying that, I mean, the containers are still halfway through, in the sense that there's already a mechanism for serializing and deserializing containers, which is true. But at the same time, there's one part missing, which is a PR that's in review at this point, which is the one with all of the schemas. The way that we designed this with Fernando is basically that you have a module, and that module gives you a schema, and then which contains all of the fields and all of the types for each, like the type for each field. So the idea is that each individual container has a module with a schema function that returns that, and there's a PR that goes through each of all of the containers and gives you the schema. So in order to actually be able to use the library with existing containers, we need that PR merged, and that's one of the things that I will finish reviewing today. There was a first pass last week. We will have a second one this week.
Also,
yeah.
For the SSC generic spec test, I think there is we have to create another issue, because we can already uncomment the test rate with the containers, because we have already the vectors, the bit list, and the bit vectors support. So that was missing before. So yeah. So in the generic part, we can already pass those tests. So
are those without the containers?
Yeah, but the containers with the generic part, that they already have the schema defined. So for the generic part, is possible to.
That sounds perfect. Could you start an issue, Fernando, so that we can work on that?
Yeah, I will tell you.
Awesome, thank you. If you need any help with that, please send me a DM and I will just start the issue. But if you already have it thought through, then feel free to do so. Does that answer the question, God's Power?
Yeah. I actually thought as much. I thought it was related to bit list and bit vectors, because some of those containers internally have like bit vectors and bit. Yeah, I'm clear now. So after that's done, I would probably create an issue for virtualization of containers, so we can work on that. So
Awesome. Okay, do we have anything else? Oh, I saw that there was a question in the chat that if we're gonna have the workshop this week. Yeah, I would like to have the workshop this week on Thursday after the daily. What do you think? Is that a time that everyone here can make? Okay, seems to work for everyone. I will start a calendar event and send it to everyone, and everyone then can just confirm. We don't know what it will be about yet, but if we set a date, we will have a workshop. You know how that works. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I think that we can finish the daily for today. Thank you everybody for joining, and see you all tomorrow.